Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachach Wadash. Peace and blessings to the elect, the listen, learning, the active walk, Yom. The double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and the elder bishops. Much respect to the mighty Gabar Yom. On the houses and hedges, bidding Yasha out to the marriage, and to the Gabar making videos of edification to wicked lost sheep and salutations to the elect scattered abroad, and be unto the speckled bird. So last night, I had a vision or a dream of prophecy. Speaking of going into martial law, specifically going into 2nd Esdras 15 and 17, going into how a man shall desire to enter a city and shall not be able. Okay? So, you know, the Bible talks about how many should dream dreams and have visions. I believe it's Joel, the 2nd chapter, that talks about how, you know, men shall have dreams and visions, and daughters and sons shall prophesy. Okay, going into the tokens, which is Bible prophecy. Okay, so this dream that I had, it takes place in a city. It looks a little bit like Chicago or Mass. It definitely wasn't New York, but it was either Chicago or Mass. And now I was walking in the street, and while I was walking in the street, I was very confused about what the heck was going on. Okay, you had military personnel. Now they wasn't your military personnel where, you know, they were a camel, right? With a camel and shit like that. I believe they were in all black. Okay? They were in all black. And I really didn't make out their faces because their backs were turned towards the people that were being lined up. Now, like I said, I was walking in the street, and I look on my right, and there's a lane with a whole bunch of people going in a tunnel that curves to the right. Okay, and the sign was like, you know, for the younger adults. Okay, then I look ahead, and there's a tunnel, okay, with a whole bunch of people going in that one, and there was a sign that was saying, you know, for like the middle-aged or the elderly. And when I looked on my left, there was a tunnel for the animals. Okay, so the military personnel, or maybe the martial law troops personnel, was directing all people into those tunnels. Okay, like I said, they had a category of the young adults, right? The teens and the young adults. The one in front of me was for the elderly and the middle-aged, like your I guess like your upper 30s and up. Okay, and then the one on the left was for animals. So I immediately thought about Revelation, the 13th chapter, going into the MOTB, which is the RFID CHIP. Okay, and how the majority of the world would be on those lines to accept that mark, to accept that charisma, to accept that allegiance with the devil, which is Esau Edom. Okay, so like I said, you know, the scriptures talk about in Joel how your young men should dream dreams. I believe also in the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, says the same thing, which is a precept to Joel, the 2nd chapter. Okay, so this is a vision that's going to take place in the near future, right? As it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. All tools, by the way. Okay, the vision is yet for an appointed moment, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay, and they shall speak. All right, it will not tarry. So it's coming. The CHIP is already out there. It's already made known. It's just not made mandatory. Okay, and also, like I said, going back into martial law, people had to report, or people had to go on these lines in order to get to certain places, because there were certain places that were blocked off. Okay? And no one saw me, by the way, because I'm sure I would have been, you know, riled up and not riled up, but gathered up with the middle age, because, you know, I'm 40. So, but yeah, man, this, it's coming. It's here. It's going to be mandatory. Thus saith the Lord, man. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua's word will not return to him void. It says in Isaiah the 55th chapter. Okay? All these things will come to pass. Thus saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So, you know, a lot of people are having visions. Okay? Which proves both Joel 2 and both Acts 2 to be true. A lot of people are having visions about martial law, okay? The MOTB, which is all part of Jeremiah 37, which goes to Jacob's troubles, okay? A time like never before. And it's going to be, you know, it's going to be hell on earth, you know? But all these things must come to pass, as Yahweh Shai said, you know? Hear rumors of wars, nations arise against nations, but fear not, for all these things must come to pass, roughly paraphrasing. Okay? And the reason why Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua tells his elect to fear not, because we understand that 2/3 will be taken by these things, but the elect shall be refined and brought through that fire. Okay? Hey, like Yahweh said in the book of Malachi, the 3rd chapter. Okay? For I'm the Lord that changed not, therefore ye sons of Jacob should not be consumed. And that's going into the elect remnant. Okay? The Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has left. He has left a remnant. Okay? This is why it's imperative to make your calling and election sure. Doing what you can to please Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. Alright? Pushing lessons out to the best of your ability. Measure the time diligently within the self. You know, brothers out there in the highways and byways, brothers making video epistles, okay? At the end of the day, there's no excuse. There's no excuse to serve the Lord, man, okay? And you want to serve the Lord because you want to be saved. So when Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you know, gives us these visions, man, it's a warning for us to warn the body, as it says in Ezekiel the 3rd chapter, and also Ezekiel the 33rd chapter, how the Lord has set watchmen, right? So, hey man, yeah, at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna lie, man, that vision put even more fear in my heart, man. Okay? Which is the beginning of wisdom. So that was a vision I had that I can remember from last night, man. Okay? You had the martial law troops all in black, or maybe that was the government's personal military. Overall, there were places blocked off that you couldn't go, okay? And there were groups and groups of people and animals. See, that's the thing that got me, man, was the animals. But then again, Esau chips the animals anyways today, okay? So the animals were being gathered up and going into a tunnel. And it looked like not like a train tunnel, but like one of those big express tunnels that, you know, cars go under to get to a different city or to go under the water. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's a dream. That's a vision or dream that I had last night. And let this be a warning to the body, man. Okay? Keep the faith, trusting Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay, it tells us in Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, that Yahweh Shai has cared for his elect. You want to be, to the best of your ability, you want to prove, and not prove, but you want to make your calling and election sure. Because you want to be saved out of the said perils, right? The famine, the pestilence, the sword. Okay? So, you want to be salvaged. So keep pushing to the best of your ability. Okay? So with that, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahasham Kwadash. Shalom.